G'day, ladies and gentlemen. We are live now on Good Cuppa of LLJ
Sorry,
with
mate.
Joe.
There you go, Lazar.
Yeah, with Joe. I should know how to pronunciation because my mum's Italian, but is it Zappia or Zappia?
You did a Zappia.
Yeah, with Joe Zappia.
That's it.
All right, I'll get my shit together now. Yeah. Who's wrestled as the Don and Rockabilly Rebel, but I'll give you a brief background of him. An extra in the miniseries Vietnam, done Vodafone ad and a professional wrestler, have done theatre and rock operas. Your band was on 60 Minutes. You've done extra work for commercials and featured as a wrestler and singer on a program on CTV. You've been a musician for over 20 years, played with various cover bands such as Jukebox Jive, Rhythm Cats, and the Peppermint Twist Show. Also have performed with international artists from overseas. You play guitar, mandolin and vocals, sing cabaret, also opera, also a professional wrestler. And I got that off your Star Now account. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks, Lazar. You've done your homework.
Jeez. One thing I asked this to Ace Darling. I think you said you had Italian background, but I thought I'd ask anyway. Your last name's Italian, eh?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely Italian background.
What parts of Italy?
Both my parents were from Calabria.
Oh, nice.
South, yeah.
Yeah, when I done my DNA genealogy, I got Vatican City, San Marino, Sardinia, and Malta.
Oh, wow. A bit of a mixture.
Yeah. So Sardinia's a little bit smaller than Sicily, and Vatican City's like mainland, and San Marino's controversial. Not really, but yeah, it's sort of like I'd class it as Italy, but I think it wants to be its own. And Malta. And that's where it gets really fascinating with like the Borgia and the Italian Renaissance and all that.
Definitely. Mate, just Calabria, that's it.
Yeah. What is your background, pro wrestling, music, entertainment, acting, etc.? More detail.
Well, retired wrestler now. More in entertainment and trying to make it into acting now. Not doing too bad. Getting close to my goal. So yeah, that's more entertaining, like singing and acting.
Awesome stuff. Did you want to elaborate any more on like your goals, or will I get into the wrestling questions?
Mate, my goals this year is to become full-time actor.
Awesome stuff.
And full-time music again, like I did before COVID.
Yeah.
Because COVID ruined quite a lot of us entertainers, and so yeah, that's the goal. Wrestling, I wouldn't mind coming out as a manager every now and then or something like that. Still keep my finger in there, but I appreciate the arts that are out there now, the entertainment that's out there now. Some good talent, keeping the wrestling going, which is great. Good to see.
Awesome stuff. Is there any like you probably can't give too much away, but have you had any like negotiations for some good projects coming up that we should?
There's a few things coming out. Little stint that I did in a new show coming out on Stan called 10 Pound Pom. I'm a little Luigi in that. There's a series, online series coming out soon called Zach and Kiki's Adventures. I'm in that too, so that's great. I've risen the short film that I was in that came #1 around the world. Fingers crossed that should become a series or an actual movie soon, hopefully, if all goes well. So yeah, there's a few things on the cards, and doing a tour in the next few months with a few Italian artists that are coming from overseas in music. So doing here, Adelaide, Melbourne, and Canberra so far.
Nice. Any plans to come to Brisbane? That's where I'm currently based.
Actually, there is an opportunity because the keyboard player that I usually play with together in the band, he's on the Gold Coast, so there's an opportunity. Yeah, most definitely in the next few months that I'll be up there at some point.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, good old Goldie. I haven't been there for ages.
Yeah.
There's a person I pen pal with on Facebook and whatnot. I've met her at the Echo twice, like caught up for a drink. Victoria Ferreira, she's doing pretty well in acting. I don't know if you've crossed paths with her or not.
Not sure if I have. Name
She was
sounds familiar.
on.
Not sure. Yeah.
She was the goth chick on Housos.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about, but no, I don't think I've crossed paths yet.
Yeah, she done some appearances for like local wrestling. That I know of. There was like a company called Chaos Championship Wrestling. I think that was the name.
Okay.
Where she done like a special appearance, and then she done like an appearance for TNT's AWF at I think a Supernova
Okay. Nice.
or some Supernovas. Yeah,
Nice. Nice.
she's a wrestling fan. I think the Undertaker's her favorite. I'm not sure. Um, Rightio, we'll get into the questions. I'm having one of those brain fart days today, so I'll try and roll the punches.
No, all good.
Um, hopefully it's entertaining anyway. That's the main thing. Yeah. How did you start in professional wrestling? What went into starting out as a wrestler?
Okay. Funny. I was in a band with John Rolfe, and we were actually in the Rhythm Cats together. And what happened was I had a Goldberg T-shirt from memory. He had Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I said, in reality, I reckon Goldberg will kick his butt. And we just sort of tit for tat. And then he goes, well, like, do you know anything about wrestling? Mate, I love wrestling. I live, breathe wrestling. I'd do anything to become a wrestler. So I remember that was at rehearsals, and we're in the back of Doonside somewhere. And then he said to me, okay, Friday night, you're coming with me. And he brought me to CrossFit Leagues, I think it was, and met and introduced me. He was actually a commentator or one of the managers, whatever he did. He'd come out and was like, and freaked me out. And there I met a few of the boys and just went from there. Ended up on ACW with Andy Harper's.
I've heard of Andy Harper's. He's a veteran in Australian wrestling, been around for quite a while.
Well, I remember Andy in the old days as a 4-year-old watching him at the Horton Pavilion and stuff like that. So, yeah, he's been around for quite a few years. So he was
Awesome stuff. Yeah.
my first promoter.
Oh, your friend's the promoter.
He was my first trainer
Oh,
and the first promotion I got into,
oh,
ACW.
awesome stuff. I think I've heard of ACW. Yeah,
The
they
Australia,
weren't too bad of a company.
yeah, there was Australia Championship Wrestling, and then there was Australian Championship Wrestling in Melbourne. Andy Harper's was Australia Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, I think they were both old school style promotions too. I
Yeah,
remember went back when we had dial up and um I used to like not Google, I think it was Yahoo. And I
Yahoo,
used
yeah,
to like go on Yahoo and I'd like find all these websites, and so that's probably
yeah,
that's where I read about them.
yeah,
There
yeah,
was like
yeah.
a heap of different ones.
The ones, yeah,
So
yeah,
I think I was searching WWF and I stumbled across on Yahoo all these Aussie federations.
yeah. There's a
Um,
few of them around now, I believe.
oh yeah, there's like all sorts of arguments over whether it's good for the scene or not. There's like splinter cells, but
Mate, there's
yeah,
politics everywhere. Same in music.
yeah, I think it's really a case of yeah, like the music scene, I suppose. You got your good with the bad.
Exactly. And like, boy, just got to roll the punches. Literally.
exactly. Um, I don't think what I was leading into. Um, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'll make reference to this. I haven't noticed him come on yet, but I know John and you were talking about like how you got into wrestling too on Lazarus Pro Wrestling Face.
Yeah,
Lazarus Pro Wrestling fan group. Do you want to elaborate on like that?
with John.
Yeah, he said Phil, and you're saying Frank.
Okay. Because what happened was, I started AWE, Australian Championship and Australian Wrestling Entertainment, and then I had some personal issues, and I ended up getting sick, and I forgot to renew the registration on the business. Not that I worried anyway, because I was starting to come out of it anyway. And by this time, but when I got better, health wise, I ended up with Kid Hardy anyway, Steve Hardy, in his promotion. I didn't bother anymore. So yeah, Phil, I think it's Phil, I don't know, whatever his name is, took AWE and claimed it. And, like, I'm not worried. Good luck to him, but it's just hilarious. Like, yeah, and that's why John Rolfe made a joke and said he introduced me to Phil. No, he didn't introduce me to Phil.
Yeah. It's interesting because I'm not sure if it's the same company, but I think Sammy Russo, who also has a Italian background, there's like a company now called AWE,
Yeah,
and
I'm not the same one either. Like I said, there's a dime a dozen out there now, and I just say, you know what? It's good. At least the name carries on, and the wrestling continues. So whoever, I'm not one of those guys. I don't really care. You know, it was mine, whatever. Blah blah blah. To me, it's out there. It's good, and it's still going. Whether I own it, whether Phil owns it, whether Sam Russo owns it, or whoever, it doesn't matter. It's still out there, and it's still continuing. It's great, and the wrestling's still out there. So awesome.
they're not doing too bad. They've had Chavo Guerrero and people like that wrestle on their show, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. Well,
They're not too bad of a local company.
like I said, lot of there's a lot of talent here in Australia and undiscovered yet too, and it's sad because you know everything's Americanized, and mate, we've got so much out here. I went to a few shows and in Newcastle and that, and I'm like, some of the guys here are way, 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 way better. They sell heaps better than what they do over there, but unfortunately, we haven't got the backing like overseas, because if we did, wrestling will be back here like it was in its glory days when I was growing up in the 70s.
Yeah, I think that's the thing back in the World Championship Wrestling era in Australia. We had like good fundamentals of like how to put on shows and matches,
Yeah,
and the marketing and backing was there. Where there's been like, if you compare it to the Roman Empire, there's been like a fall of the Roman Empire Dark Ages period.
yeah, well, that's right. And that's all we need. If we had that just one backing, someone to say on the network to say, yeah, let's bring it back to how it was. Wrestling will go massive here, because I'm telling you now, like, we've got a lot of talent out there that are undiscovered, and it's not right. Even like in music, it's the same. We got entertainers out there. We got young kids that I'll even be embarrassed to pick up my guitar in front of. Just amazing, but they haven't got that break. They haven't got that opportunity. So, and that's what really we should be concentrating, because they're our ambassadors. They're the next generation. They're the ones that are going to keep it going for us. So that's why, like I said, like AWE, doesn't matter who owns it or who's the president or who's the director or whatever. It's out there. It's still going. Awesome. Keep it going.
There's a boxing company in Australia that's been promoting some big boxing fights,
Yeah.
and they're
Oh,
starting to get like,
I don't follow
um,
boxing.
yeah, Tim Tszyu, the son of Kosher, who's been fighting for him, but they've actually had like Paul Gallen and Mark Super Samoan Hunt and whatnot, and they've been producing like
And
really
it's
big like fights.
good. So they should, because again, that's another industry that needs to be pumped out here in Australia too, because it's again a lot of talent out there too. So yeah,
I'm just having a mental blank on the name of the company, which is slacking me, but they're probably the last few years they've been actually getting like a lot of money put behind them and a lot of hype. And I've been thinking just through like some of the hype of their super fights, I've been thinking, well, if they've got that many connections in the boxing world and they're really tapping into the resources in Australia,
yeah.
that could be pro wrestling if it was set up properly and they had like the resources to set it up.
Look, you know what it is here. If people, even in the music industry, work together instead of against each other, you'd probably get somewhere. Because at the end of the day, no one's better than anyone. We're all equals. Yeah, one's got something. Like for example, I'm not a good mechanic. I'm a lousy electrician. Give me a spanner or a hammer and I break things. But give me guitar, I'm okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, so we all got our own little forte. Instead of working against each other, work with each other. Both wrestling and any industry. It doesn't matter whether it's wrestling, whether it's boxing, whether it's MMA or music. We could be big here in Australia too, because there is a hell of a lot out there. A hell of a lot.
Yeah, definitely. We've had like some local talent
Oh,
that have put in bare knuckle boxing.
huge.
Trying to think of her name.
I've got
Um,
a I've got a close friend of mine. His name is Tommy McCurry, and I've known him since I was a little kid. And he's been involved in boxing all his life. And to me, he's like another brother. Mate, some of the shows that he puts on, like, and some of the boxes he's got, amazing, absolutely amazing.
yeah,
So
some real good promotion lately of it too. Like we've got good lineage like the pro wrestling, but yeah, the bare knuckle boxing scene's a new thing where Ken Shamrock runs a bare knuckle boxing fight promotion now, and it's becoming a big thing like MMA.
yeah. Oh, cool.
And we've got an Australian chick who done a like gloves boxing match recently, but she also
Mm.
has background in UFC and has fought in bare knuckle fighting championship, which is one of the big ones. I just can't think of a name. Um, yeah. Anyway, I'll
All good.
get to like the next question. So I asked you, oh yeah, I asked you this one. What were the early days of being a wrestler like?
It was hard getting used to all the falls and all that. Early days, mate, I had a ball. I had an amazing time while I was in it. I got to meet my idols, and I got to meet, wrestlers that I only knew of as a kid. And here I was with them, like Ken Dunlop, for example, is another one. I'd always watch him and think, wow, and then here I was getting whacked by him in the ring, and him, Bob Lassick, yeah, Mario Milano, Italian Idol, things like that. And yeah, it's done great. And through wrestling, that's how I broke into acting, because through that, and it's just, yeah, it's done well for me.
I'm bummed out that I never got to try Mario Milano's pizza at his pizza store.
Top bloke, mate. He was an absolute gentleman, Mario Milano. A true gentleman. Very soft spoken, and it was great. It was like, even like Steve Rackman, like I got to wrestle under, like, in Mounties when he was running it with Andy Harpus. And I remember walking in and he said, "G'day, Joe. How are you?" And I'm like, "Really?" He used to scare the crap out of me. I can't even hear you talk. Very soft spoken, absolute gentleman. Beautiful man, Steve Rackman.
Yeah, I bought on Google Play recently. Don't know if you've seen the film, The Last Knuckle Man, and
No.
Steve Rackman has a role in that,
Oh,
where there's a
okay.
fight at the end,
Okay.
which is quite interesting. Yeah, it's sort of like one that I stumbled across on a review thing,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, there's like a big fight at the end. I won't give away too much. It's an interesting Aussie film. It's like one that a lot of people may not know of, but it's sort of like a cold Aussie classic.
Nice.
Yeah, because when you were talking earlier about like Australian wrestling and stuff,
Mm.
I recently interviewed Dazzler Dunlop and Peter Farry, and we are speaking about the history of Aussie wrestling and times where we've had like a lot of opportunity to become successful post World Championship Wrestling,
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
have like world class wrestling and Irish Championship Wrestling and World Wrestling All Stars. And one of the questions I asked them was, where do you think we've fallen short? What would your take be on that?
Look, I think once it came off media, like once television took it off the air, that was it. That's what killed us, really, because we didn't have that support while it was on TV. People knew about the Australian wrestling all over the world, and I think the fact that I don't know if the Yanks, because they weren't supporting either. So I guess that didn't help. So if a channel was to take it back on, like whether go back onto the original channel 9 or 10 or 7, whatever, but even on ABC or SBS, Australian wrestling can come back in a big way. Again, like I keep saying, and I'll keep expressing it, and I can't express enough, we have got the talent here. Australia has got some really great wrestlers, female and male.
Yeah, I've been talking, when I was talking to Peter Ferry, he had like background where he's done like promoting like the Wrestle Right 92 tour and
Mm-mm.
announcing and stuff like that. And
Mm-mm.
I actually, towards the end of this talk with him, we got into a conversation about like what he thinks of the current scene. And I actually said to him, because of his business background, have you thought about like offering consultancy? Like, would some of the veterans be willing to offer consultancy? Would that be an avenue for like current scene people? You know, get it out there, because I think that's the problem at times too. It gets too like indie, and it's sort of like there needs to be like consultancy a little bit, because I think we can reach a certain point, then we drop because of lack of consultancy and marketing and whatnot.
True. Well, it can be marketed, and if it's marketed right, it can go ahead. It can be big like it was in the old days. Wrestling can, like, it's never been gone. It's never left it's always been there, but yeah, it just needs to be pumped out a bit more.
If you
Uh,
read Dazzler Dunlop's book, he goes into the history and some of the tours we had here, even post World Championship Wrestling with like Andre the Giant.
oh yeah,
Like, that says a lot.
yeah. Mate, Andre the Giant, Tex McKenzie. I remember all them back in the old days coming out. In fact, I remember standing out the front of Horton Pavilion when Andre the Giant and Tex McKenzie, who was probably the same height as Andre, came out of a mini minor. It was like, how the hell you get these two beasts in there? It was amazing. I'll never forget they rocked up in a mini minor, the two of them. And they might have been sitting in the back seat. So I don't think you had the front seats. They're too big.
I think there's a reference to something like that in Dazzler Dunlop's book.
Yeah, I remember that. Absolutely remember that.
And I was like reading it, and apparently Don Morocco was throwing like cans out the window, and
No, it was fun. It was fun. It was absolutely fun.
I'll lead into this. Thoughts on professional wrestling training? What goes into training to become a wrestler?
Uh, what goes into training, mate? You got to be agile. You got to be flexible. And you got to be considerably fit, because I wasn't extremely fit, but I was fit enough to take bumps and falls and hits. So, yeah. And that was a daily thing, an absolute daily thing. I'd be like, put Home and Away or Neighbours on, watching that while I was doing my falls in the lounge room on my mat, practicing my falls and things like that. Get, yeah, that's about it.
Sorry. Yeah, I've tried to do training in the past. I haven't become a wrestler, but just through, trying to do training in it, I know what you mean with fitness and stamina and blowing up and bumps and all that. And then you got to like muscle memory stuff, and you got like the holds and
Yeah, the holds, the chain wrestling. It is, you did, yeah. It's just a combination of everything. But it was lucky because I had my son that he enjoyed doing it, so it was good. So he'd help me out, and even though it was it was only a little kid, he'd still learn how to do the chain wrestling. And in fact, now he's in his mid-20s, and mate, he's a great little chain wrestler. He knows all the holds and moves and that, so it was good. So, but that was a daily thing. Absolutely, didn't matter how you felt, whether you had a migraine or a headache or a backache, whatever. You had to do it because, mate, anyone could tell you it was easy enough to get hurt, and I've been hurt a lot.
I take my hat off to anyone that like does the training and actually gets in the ring on shows, because the training from what I've done is hard enough. But then when you get on shows, you also got the crowd and got all the other stuff.
Well,
And
that's where you've got to know how to act, I guess. And that's where the entertainment side comes in, and that's where it's helped me a lot. Because look, I did a promotional thing for Ream with Shane Jacobson, and he said, "Where did you study?" And I said, "Wrestling." That's where I learned how to act, and that was it. And we had a good laugh because you don't know how to act. You got a crappy show, basically. So that's where I learned how to act. And he said, "Yeah, I learned on the farms, my dad's farm." So moral of the story is we didn't need to go to night or anything like that. You wrestle, you know how to. And in fact, I did do an audition 1 year for a commercial which I got, I did get asked that question: where did you learn how to act? Like, what school did you go to? And I said wrestling. And he said, "Okay, I won't insult you anymore." He goes, "If you don't know how to act in wrestling, forget it. You're crap." And it's true.
I think Sylvester Stallone, when he done Paradise Alley, there was like someone who was bad mouthing wrestling. He actually defended like the wrestlers and said they're some of the best improv people
100%.
out there.
100%.
And Sylvester Stallone has like a great respect for wrestling, you can't help but respect his career.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Um, like with when I done that short film that I sent you ages ago, Don't Hate, Meditate. I haven't had a training as an actor. I was fed the lines during it, but some of the stuff was a combination of when you're in training, you practice selling, and then also watching heaps of movies and just copying stuff from movies.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
that's what I utilise. But I've done acting coaching with a fellow wrestling fan and independent. Well, he's done like extra acting roles and acting gigs himself and
Mm-mm.
independent stuff. Mike Messier, and we went through various things. But he was saying I should look at doing like stage performances where you get on stage and then you sort of learn and practice that way.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but leading into just got to skim where I'm at. Yeah, I skimmed down too far. How did you grow to become a known talent? What goes into promoting yourself as a wrestler? That can also be generalized with all the stuff you're into, like acting, music, etc.
I just take on everything that's given to me, whether it's good or bad or horrible. Or, I mean, I've got a boundary, especially like with acting. There's certain things I won't go, I won't do. But yeah, it's just basically not refusing anything, doing what you can and doing it to the best of your capability. Simple.
Awesome stuff. What advice would you give to someone looking to become a wrestler or
Do it.
looking to get
Do it.
into the industry?
Yep, do it. Never say never, and I never say I can't because you always can. If you want something bad enough, Look, I dreamt of being a wrestler all my life, like as a kid, and I swore at the age of 4. From the age of 4, I've always wanted to, because both my grandfathers wanted to be a wrestler, and I swore as I got older that one day I'd become a wrestler. And thanks to John Rolfe, I got there. My dream was fulfilled. So basically, moral of the story is, mate, you want to do something, you can do it. I did it, so can you. And there's talent out there. Don't waste it. Get out there, do it. Never say never, never.
Yeah, I got into a little bit of training when I was younger,
Yeah,
and I did like I wasn't trained real well for it. I was pretty green, but I did do some gigs where I done like play-by-play and ring introductions for a small company called Queensland Championship Wrestling.
nice.
They're no longer around now. Done like some columns for their website,
Yeah, yeah.
but my ambition growing up, believe it or not, was actually to be a promoter. So like I was into like creative booking and promoting.
Right. Again, never say never. And I
Um,
had a saying in wrestling too: never let fear stop you.
Never let anything stop you.
No, never let fear stop you.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a hurdle, and then you got to look at I'm not going to be too in depth where I overthink it, but you got to look out like thinking, how to like get to where you got to get to, and learning and all that.
It's determination. Here, it's all in here and in here.
Yeah,
The heart, you got the brain, you got the determination. You can do it. So now my goal, like Morgan Freeman, who did bits and pieces till he was 55, and then he became a professional actor, got his first major role. I'm going to be 55 in August, so that's my goal.
yeah, I'm only 36, so
Okay,
um,
good. So I brag about it. It's all good.
yeah, but yeah, I've had my birthday last year, so
Yeah.
be 37 this year. Um, yeah, talking about the promotion stuff, it actually has ended up connecting. Um, what does a promoter look for from a potential wrestler booking, etc.? Like you could generalize that too with like your interests of like acting or whatnot,
Okay.
business.
If I'm like, for example, getting away from wrestling for a second, music for example, um, the what I look for is what's going to grab the audience. What people are going to like, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. The voice, the style, the the connection that you can make with it. Because at the end of the day, you can be the greatest wrestler, you can be the greatest entertainer, you can be the greatest actor, whatever. But if you haven't got the backing of the audience and the people behind you, you're nothing. You're absolutely nothing. They're the ones that make you. So you have got to give them something for them to make you. That's what I look for. And I look. It's always a gimmick. Like for example, I play mandolin. Not many people play mandolin. I'm playing songs that my grandfather used to listen to when he was a kid. He would have been 100, 120, 24 if he was alive now. So that's a gimmick. Always looking for gimmicks. That's gonna wow the crowd.
Awesome stuff. In comparing like wrestling or life, you could say the Rocky films. Would you say wrestling can be a situation like Rocky where you get like heaps of false starts, be it places you train or just be it the way the industry is? And would you sort of look at it a bit like a Rocky film where,
Yeah, you could.
morals? Yep.
Well, yeah, I guess you can. Like, you start off with nothing, and you end up as something. Then you end up, wow, I did all that. So I basically, yeah, basically, I suppose you could look at it as a Rocky movie.
Number three was quite interesting because he's at the top and then
Yeah,
he's beaten by Clubber Lang and then he's got to get back up to the top.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's like everything in life. Music's the same.
And he's like, as champion, it goes into like it could be something for people even in the industry
Yeah,
where like you're at the top and you're actually involved. but then like various things like your ego, politics, or whatnot. Like,
You keep a level head and keep your ego to minimal. Leave it in the ring or on the stage. Don't take it with you.
yeah,
Yeah,
because I think the moral in Rocky Three is he started becoming like too used to publicity and being the
exactly,
champion, and he
exactly,
loses the title, and he has to get hungry again.
exactly right. And on that note, I'm going to have to go back to work.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, man.
no worries.
We do, I'm happy to do a part two for you at a later time if there's not a problem at a later date. But
Yeah, that's fine. No worries. We'll leave it at that.
appreciate
Um,
it, Lazar.
yeah, I'll just ask any like platforms that you want to plug that you utilize for like your business or your career and whatnot.
Yeah, if you see me, just come and say hello. Yeah, that's it. Just say hello,
No worries.
and just
Um,
hopefully you enjoy my music.
yeah, we'll do a part two for sure.
Yeah, problem.
All right. Yeah, I'll be in touch. Yeah, I'll probably talk to you off the. I'll probably talk to you like PM you like what would work for you.
Yeah, no worries, man. Anytime.
No worries. Where we're leading on from, I think I was talking to you about like um what goes into what does a promoter look for and all that, and sort of like
Yeah,
the attitude of like people in the wrestling industry. So I'll try and lead on from that next time,
done. Too easy. Thank you so much,
and,
Lazar.
and getting into like more into like what goes into it and what goes into other industries and
Yep.
all that sort of
Sounds
wonderful stuff.
sounds
All
good.
right.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate your time and look
Pleasure.
forward to catching up with you again.
Thank you. Likewise.
No worries. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Bye bye.
Well, there you have it. Yeah, we got into a little bit of stuff. Yeah, I'm having a day where I haven't slept very well and whatnot, but some interesting conversation. Um, due to Joe having to go back to work, we'll do a part two. I'll arrange with him to do a part two. And hopefully, trying to think. Um, yeah, we'll lead on from like where we left off, where we're talking about what does it take to become a pro wrestler and the industries and he's involved in, like looking at like all the avenues, like acting, entertainment, whatnot. Just the general drift of things, and then we're leading on to like when you get to that position, how do you deal with like um the industry regarding like general attitude and politics, etc. Um, just trying to find what I was doing. Yeah, no worries. But looking forward to doing a part two with Joe Zappia. Anyway, he when he was involved in pro wrestling, he wrestled as the Don and Rockabilly Rebel. It should be a good conversation following on from where we left off. Um, and on Saturday, Jan 14, 1 p.m. Vic, New South Wales time, 12 noon Queensland time. We're talking to Red Hot Ricky Diamond, who is the brother of Dazzler Dunlop. So that's going to be a good interview. We cannot wait for that. Um, I'll let you go. Hopefully you enjoyed the conversation I had today with Joe Zappia. Look forward to more conversations on Good Couple of LLJ. We spoke about some pretty interesting stuff. Really enjoyed his insight, a little bit of wrestling history, his thoughts on things. And I'm looking forward to doing part 2 with him where I can further discuss things and enjoy a conversation, as I've been saying and trying to sort of like go with the Good Cup of LLJ show. The idea of it is like having a cup of tea, cup of coffee, see where the conversations lead. So, pretty much looking forward to chatting with Joe Zappia again and seeing where the conversation leads. In part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just kidding. We'll see. We'll see where the conversations lead. Looking forward to talking to him again. We'll work out when he's available, and I also thank him for his time. It's much appreciated. Well, what we'll do now is we'll do a countdown, and we'll leave it at that. Hey, Avi, how's it going? About to finish up, but just thought I'd say hello. All right, we'll do another countdown, and then I'll get ready to head off, and we'll discuss with Joe about doing a part 2 when he's available. Appreciate his time today. Appreciate it. Really appreciate your kind words. All right, I'll do one more countdown, and then I better get ready to head off. Really appreciate your kind words. Stay tuned for like more good cuppas of LLJ. Looking forward to talking with Red Hot Ricky Diamond, the brother of Dazzler Dunlop. Saturday, Jan 14, 1 p.m. Victorian time, New South Wales time, 12 noon Queensland time. Anyway, I'll do one more countdown, and stay tuned too. We'll work out availability, whatnot, for a part 2 of Joe Zappia. I was really enjoying the conversation today, and a pity you had to get back to work, but these things happen. But yeah, as I've been saying, like, good cup of LLJ. The idea of it is like having a cup of tea, cup of coffee, see where the conversations lead. So we got to have a good chat during his coffee break. Ha ha ha. All right, I'll do one more countdown. I've been saying that like twice now, or 3 times now, and then I'll have to head off. I'm noticing there's like more comments and viewers, so if people want to like leave some comments or whatnot, I'm happy to stay on for a bit more and chat. Do like a good cup of LLJ interactive chat, along with, you know, it being part 1 speaking with Joe Zappia, who wrestled as the Don, Rockabilly Rebel, and has had background in the music industry for a long time, and does like acting and entertainment. we'll do another countdown. I'll see if anyone hops on actually, and we'll see if we've got some comments happening, and might do like a bit of interaction. If not, head off. Like I said, I really appreciated the time that Joe had to chat today. It was great to be able to chat to him during his lunch break and coffee break, I should say. And yeah, it was quite an interesting conversation. Really looking forward to doing a part two. I'll do another countdown now, and I'll leave it at that. Because yeah, it doesn't seem like many other people are going to comment, so may not worry about doing a live interactive chat. But yeah, we'll look at scheduling that during the week, maybe doing one outside of chatting with people like Red Hot Ricky Diamond on Saturday. I'll do a countdown. All right. Been a pleasure, everyone. Really thankful for Joe Zappia's time. Looking forward to doing a part two. We'll talk to him and work out availability for when he wants to do a part two. And yeah, looking forward to speaking to Red Hot Ricky Diamond, the brother of Dazzler Dunlop, Saturday. Like I said, 12. No, not 12. Like I said, Jan 14, 1 p.m. Vic time, New South Wales time, and 12 noon Queensland time. I'll do another countdown, and then hopefully I don't keep botching stuff. As long as it's entertaining. I think I just like doing countdowns. All right, that is it. Been a pleasure. Would like to once again thank Joe Zappia for his time. It was a great chat. Thank you for your time. Enjoyed chatting with you during your coffee break. Looking forward to doing a part two. We'll work out availability, whatnot, when you're free, and we'll do a part two of our chat with Joe Zappia, where we'll talk about various things. Treat it like having a cup of tea, cup of coffee, see where the conversations lead. And on Saturday, Jan 14, we're going to catch up with Red Hot Ricky Diamond, 1 p.m. Vic, New South Wales, 12 noon Queensland. Until next time, we'll do one more countdown, and then that's it. Been a pleasure. Peace. Until next time on Good Cuppa with LLJ.